Hello everyone, welcome to TalkEdge, your daily dose of real English for real life. Here, we don't just learn English, we live it. So grab your headphones, sit back, and let's talk English. I'm Anna. Today, we're diving into something deeper. What it really feels like to live alone in a foreign country, where no one knows you and you don't know anyone either. A journey that's not just about distance, but about inner depth. And today's guest is Ben, someone who spent 3 months living in a small Japanese town, volunteering and learning how to slow down.
Thanks, Anna. I'm really happy to share this story. It truly changed the way I live and how I see the world.
I believe a lot of people will deeply relate to what you're about to share. So Ben, what made you leave a stable job, a vibrant city life, and choose to live alone in a completely unfamiliar place? That's not something most people dare to do.
At the time, I was working in marketing at a big company. From the outside, everything looked great. Decent salary, nice coworkers, structured routine. But inside, I felt empty. One night, I looked in the mirror and realized I didn't know why I was living. It was just a constant loop. I longed to feel truly alive again, to reconnect with myself. Then I stumbled upon a volunteer program in Japan. I signed up. People thought I was crazy, but I felt I needed it.
When you got there, a small mountain town, no internet, no supermarket, no Starbucks. What was your first reaction? Did you ever think, I made a mistake, I don't belong here?
Honestly, yes. I brought everything except patience. The first week felt so slow, communication was hard, no modern comforts. But then I realized that simplicity was the gift. I started noticing small things, the sound of water flowing, birds in the morning, the way locals bowed to greet each other.
Was there ever a moment when you truly wanted to give up? When you thought, that's it, I want to go home?
The second week, I got a fever and caught a cold. No one there spoke English. I lay in a wooden room, cold, without a phone, without friends, no doctor in sight. I felt invisible. I cried. But then an elderly woman from the village, who only knew a few words of English, knocked on my door. She brought me a bowl of hot porridge, placed it down, and left without saying anything. That simple gesture made me realize I wasn't alone. I just hadn't learned how to feel silent kindness yet.
That story really touches my heart. In today's world, we often define care through words or texts, but sometimes a silent act can be the deepest form of connection. After that moment, did you feel yourself start to change?
Yes, a lot. I began learning basic Japanese on my own. Every day I helped locals harvest bamboo shoots, clean the temple, cook with them. Slowly, I felt like I belonged not as a guest, but as a small part of their community.
I'm really curious about your daily rhythm back then. What was a day like in that little town? Did you learn anything from the repetition and quiet?
I woke up at 5 a.m. We meditated in silence, then did light farm work. In the afternoons, I taught English to kids using pictures and games. Evenings were for dinner and simple conversation. No TV, no phone. And I learned something big. Silence isn't emptiness. It's a space where you can finally hear your own voice.
It sounds like you lived a version of life that many dream of, but few dare to pursue. Ben, when you returned to the city after those 3 months, what changed most in you?
I stopped being obsessed with speed. Before, I was always racing, against time, against others, even myself. But after the trip, I learned to breathe. I learned to say no. I took slow, aimless walks. I listened to people without rushing to reply. I live slower now, but I'm not behind. In fact, I'm more aware, more present.
Did anyone in your life notice that change? How did they react?
My mom was the first. She said, "You don't check your phone during meals anymore." My friends said I seemed calmer, more quiet, but deeper. Some even joked, "Ben, you're living like an old man now." I just laughed, because deep down, I knew I had changed.
I think you're sharing a powerful message. You don't have to live like everyone else to be valid. You just have to live true to yourself. But Ben, if someone listening to this podcast feels stuck, wants to change, but is afraid of going alone, what would you say to them?
I'd say, you're not really alone. You are walking with yourself, and you deserve to be heard. Fear is a good sign. It means you're about to step outside your comfort zone, and the best things in life always live on the other side of fear.
That's That's so profound. Ben, have you ever gone back to that village or stayed in touch with anyone there?
I did. A year later I returned. The old woman had passed away. But I visited her home and placed a bowl of porridge at the door, a late thank you. I still get holiday cards from the kids. The love there isn't loud, but it's lasting.
Your story feels like a film, Ben, and I truly believe that everyone listening today will carry something with them after this conversation. If you had to sum up the biggest lesson from your journey in just one sentence, what would it be?
I'd say, happiness doesn't come from where you are, but from how fully you show up in that place.
That's a beautiful way to end. Thank you, Ben, for your time and for your rare honesty. If you're listening to this episode and something simple but profound has stirred something in you, share it. Maybe you too are about to begin your own journey. Before we close, Ben, I want to ask something really specific. If you could offer just one piece of advice to someone who feels stuck, lost, and afraid to walk alone, what would it be?
I'd say, go. Even if it's just a short walk. Even if it's just somewhere nearby. And don't carry the expectation that you'll find the answers right away. Just step outside your familiar zone, and bit by bit, you'll start to find yourself again.
Sometimes we don't need a grand adventure, just a quiet space to hear our own hearts again. You reminded me that change doesn't begin in the rush. It begins in the pause when we choose to stop, on purpose.
Exactly. The longest journey isn't about where we go, it's about how we see life differently. When I came back, the city hadn't changed. The people around me hadn't changed. But I had become still enough to see everything more clearly.
I believe today's story isn't just inspiring, it's a gentle reminder for anyone feeling overwhelmed in this modern world. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to take that first step.
And remember, you are not empty. You're just too busy to hear yourself. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is sit quietly with your fear and then get up. Not because you're no longer afraid, but because you know you deserve a fuller life.
Thank you, Ben, for speaking straight from the heart. And thank you to everyone who stayed with us until the very end. I hope you carry something from this, even the smallest thing, to start your own change.
I wish you courage, the kind that lets you slow down, feel deeply, and trust enough not to turn back.
See you again in the next episode of TalkEdge. And don't forget, you are not walking alone. We are all on a journey back to ourselves, each in our own way. Follow the podcast and leave a comment if you want to hear more stories like this. Until next time, take care and keep going.